Welcome back to another video. We're going to take a look at the current state of CSM Generative AI. I've loaded over here multiple meshes. They are all currently overlapped. As you can see over here, these are the first 3D models that I generated, and these are those sessions. Now, since they are almost 1 year old, we're going to see that the meshes are no longer available for this. If I will try to generate the final mesh, I will receive a warning that this model version is not allowed. So they updated the platform and this will no longer be available over here. Now, the original mesh was from Artec 3D Scan database. This is the bronze statue. I will also leave a link in the video description. Now, let's take a look at the models and the results because I have recreated all of those. As we can see over here within my latest models, it is the same statue. Some of them have a white background. These were created and rendered within Keyshot, but I also added those with a black background, which were taken directly from the viewport, from the website, from the Sketchweb embedded over here. Okay, so let's take a look at the quality of the models. This one, entitled Shape Index Face Set, this is the original mesh. If I will grab this and move it on the y-axis, as we can see, this model has a lot of details. Even without texture, this is because for the others, the texture will, let's say in some case, hide the lack of details because those details are added onto the texture. I will enable the viewport shading and we have the original mesh over here. So let me just drag that a little bit like this. And we're going to have the following mesh entitled Mesh 1. Let's take a look at the model. As we can see, the statue, the proportions are, let's say, decent, but we have a lot of lost detail. I will just rotate this to have the same orientation. And if you recall within my previous videos, all the original models were mirrored. Now we see that the model is not mirrored, so we have the leg over here, which in this case we see that the front tools are mirrored, but the one in the back are not. So this is quite weird, but overall we see that the quality of the texture in this case is lacking. So this model barely has any. And over here for the horse, it also has some added elements. Let's go with the following one, which will be this one. As you can see, this is a lot more flat. So I will center that. This should be, in my case, a little bit extruded because it doesn't have the, not extruded, it should be scaled on the y-axis. So the statue should be a lot wider. This is the original one, and we can easily do that within Blender. Let me just rotate it a little bit and let's compare. Again, we're going to have some details on the horse. For the leg of the horse, we're going to see that the front left will be that one. So the orientation of the horse legs are good, but other elements are totally missing over here. So let's check the third iteration, which will be this one. I will just grab all of those and move them a little bit back. This should also be rotated, so I will rotate this along the z-axis. We're gonna have the second model over here. I will just grab this on the y, and we're gonna see that this will have some better details, at least for the horse. We see over here, from the previous one up to this one, the horse has a little much more details. But the position of the legs of the horse are not that well defined over here. So let's go with the fourth mesh, which will be this one. Have that rotated. As we can see, this will have even more details. So keep in mind that when all of those were created, I just added the photos over here, so there is no retexturing being done. But as we can see, some of them are more detailed than the others. For example, this one within the preview has a lot of details. I think this is the model that we currently also have open over here, or the other one. Since they are entitled like this, Mesh 4, I should download it in order to have it again. But we see that this has a little bit of details compared to the others. Over here we have a mesh that shouldn't be positioned. But yeah, other than that, that's great. So maybe the AI tool wanted to add that section over here. It totally messed up that. As we can see, those added elements, which should be initially like this. So we see that generative AI in this case lacks a lot of details, not only for the mesh, but also for the texture. We're gonna see all those horses. Maybe this one in some cases the best because that doesn't have any added geometry to the face of the horse. But other than that, we still have a lot of missing features. So let's see, we still have those two meshes over here. If I will also rotate this, we're gonna see that this will be flipped, and again it will be squashed. So this should be scaled. But the proportions over here for the last one, these I think are the most decent. I will just grab it and position it over here closer to the original reference. So maybe for the horse we have a little more details. The position of the leg is not that well defined in 3D. As we can see, those two legs are overlapped. But other than that, this is more good than some of the others. Now, I'm really curious, what is your opinion regarding this? Because we have the possibility to do some AI retexturing, but as we can see over here, the details are still not that well defined. We see over here the profile for the horse. Maybe this one is a little bit more interesting, and the last one that I previously moved over here, but they are not, let's say, comparable to the original 3D scan that we have over here. So let me know in the comments section, what is your opinion regarding this? We have the possibility to do a retexture with AI for these models. And we're gonna see that we can do some changes and we can make them a little bit better. Let's take a look at, so we see over here, it automatically suggests this bronze sculpture of a dynamic, stylized, mythical two-headed horses. Okay, so that's quite weird because it's not a two-headed, it's a horseman. Let's say horseman. Okay, now it's a little bit better. We can also make the creativity a little bit smaller in this case. So we could have the possibility to do a retexturing of this model. But as we can see, this will not have the details, so it will not have the weapon. You see the weapon over here. So I'm really curious, what is your opinion regarding generative AI? Because I started to use this almost 1 year ago. But as we can see, there are still a lot of elements that need to be improved. Maybe this retexturing will benefit, and we have the possibility to retexture this. So let's bake the texture over here. Let's save it. I still think that for concept arts, this is great because we can also generate really good concept arts, but for the 3D modeling, there are still a little bit of work to be done, especially when we compare this to 3D scan assets, which in theory should be one-on-one with the original elements. Over here, we see that the retexturing with AI hasn't been applied. So maybe over here within the retexture, there are some steps that need to be changed in order to have that blending between those two. So we see edge blending and normal blending, but we're gonna see the retexturing over here. Okay, so that's it for this video. I'm really curious, what is your opinion regarding Common Sense AI machine? I still find it really impressive that it managed to create, for example, those 3D models, especially for the head of the horse. But other than that, it lacks details. And also we see that the models are flipped, so I should have them mirrored and scaled so that they will have the same orientation as the original element over here. So that's it. Thanks for watching.